I find it interesting that with all the lives I watched yesterday about the YSL bond hearing with Young Thug and Gunna, I saw such hypocrisy. All these people want to play with the notion of these people are targeting Young Thug and it's racist, but people want to ignore the fact that when we brought certain information out about Robert Kelly's case, a lot of people were so gassed up by these agitators, they wouldn't listen to the common sense things we had to say. The very clear message is that if these people can publicly violate a superstar like Robert Kelly's rights in our face and then try to use all these janky ass informants and bipolar schizophrenic trolls on the internet to keep this circus going around his case, it's going to be hard for people to focus on the facts, which is people came out to the public manipulating the facts in order to create a public outcry. Now, when it comes to Young Thug's case, these people claim they have all this evidence, this wiretaps, and all this other information. Yet the talking point some people want to run with is how they're using these rap lyrics to exploit this man's career and criminalize some of the things he said. Now let's just pause. Isn't that what the hell I said when I had to look at all these people coming out with this mute RKelly bullshit, telling the public this man was using his career to traffic young girls, and to this day they still cannot produce one minor that this man allegedly preyed on, but instead they kept rehashing all this information they've printed in articles, they've made docuseries about, and coerced individuals to come out giving stories about. And then, as I see them work their magic to get any kind of charge to stick, I bring light to the Mann Act. Now, if y'all want to talk about something being racist, that is the perfect talking point. But instead, people wanted to sit back all quiet and let this man be publicly assassinated. And then, when all the facts started to slowly emerge from the channels such as myself, which are being shadow banned, then people want to start getting on platforms talking about how great he is. So the icing on the cake is when I see this music exec, Kevin Liles, who takes credit for helping Young Thug form YSL, testify on his behalf. And like I said with Robert Kelly, if these people actually believe the nonsense they had to say, there's a level of accountability that people should be looking at. But the fact that this man, who again, as I just pointed out, takes credit in helping this man fund this so-called illegal organization, and then goes out and says he will financially back this individual even in his current situation, how am I supposed to just keep watching all these RICO cases when I clearly see corruption across the board? And we all know from the South, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And when these people can't prove their case, they're willing to go on circumstantial evidence and conspiracy charges. However, as I just mentioned, the problem is the accountability. Last time I checked, if the government felt like these individuals were really carrying out these criminal organizations, there's a long chain of individuals that should be held accountable. However, if you look at what's really going on, it seemed like to me this is a mighty convenient way to seize some assets from these artists, even though I pointed out a long time ago. I find it ironic how the black community allows these counterproductive and destructive behaviors to be carried out and put on these platforms to entertain you. When real injustice goes on in your face, everybody want to act crazy and talk about stop snitching. Meanwhile, we will sit around here quiet, letting these people incriminate themselves in these interviews. Make that shit make sense.
Can I with you? What?
ACP, did you see this?
Look, if it ain't a official Dana J, Levi for Kelly. Primadonnanews, I don't even want to see it. Just take the phone. Look. You got some weed? Dang. I gotta get some. Alright, hurry up.
We just seeing allegations after allegations after allegations, and we see how quick these people get a little wind of news and get to running with their opinions that are a little bit off course. So when people came out talking about Yellow Bezzy's bond revocation, they failed to realize that what happened to him happens to so many people time and time again for so many varying reasons. However, the people came to the internet making it seem as though there was a new charge or something to that magnitude. But a lot of people will skip around the fact that this young man's name has been mentioned in the Mo 3 incident, and it just seems apparent to me the same practices they use in the South, whereas any means necessary to get you locked up while they look for other things to trigger you to cop a plea, is the same tactics we see time and time again. Now, as I've said before, a lot of these artists that people think are living such a glamorous life aren't living that life in actuality. A lot of these people are flogging. So what happens when they don't have the money, the finances to fight off these attacks by these corrupt officials trying to make their quotas? What happens when they're able to use platforms just like this to build their cases instead of going out getting real solid evidence? And the last point that I wanted to hit on before I close this video out is this Whack 100 Nipsey Hussle Cowboy Hassan Campbell situation. If you haven't been paying attention, a lot of things is being stirred, and I just find it very hypocrisy-filled how, again, people will skip around this Africa Bambaataa situation. All those individuals who could claim to be enablers who knew this and knew that in the industry. And then when I come out here and talk about some common sense, which is extortion, which is what we see playing out on these platforms from individuals, it should be clear as day why I feel like a lot of these people on these platforms are agents of chaos and or janky informants and or clout chasers. And I say that because of this. Like I've said many times before, it ain't no secret the FBI and the officials watch these platforms for their convenience. The problem is why they selectively overlook certain things like extortion, like all these gang affiliated individuals coming out with these secrets trying to coerce and intimidate individuals, and then act like nothing when people like me point it out to you. Now, when I heard these people taking these shots at Nipsey Hussle, I knew I might need to start checking around to see what's really going on. So as I do, guess what? This trial from this Eric Holder guy is starting. And why aren't the people talking about that the way they're talking about all these freaky deaky tapes that these people have access to and talking about they're going to expose and or trying to collect money off of? Why are the people in the industry that have so much knowledge and information and power mute when it comes to certain topics? Meanwhile, they have no problem getting on these platforms addressing clown shit. And the icing on the cake is how freely these individuals are using these women to fulfill their agendas by exploiting so-called tapes that they may have access to by enlisting individuals to attack women that they disagree with and all this other fugazi information we have heard on these platforms. Meanwhile, these goofy-ass people that have this weird obsession with an individual like RKelly, they act like they don't see none of this shit. Just like they act like they don't see none of the real-life women who are being exploited, who are being trafficked, who are being pimped, who are being manipulated into all of the wrong types of lifestyles and poor decisions that have them sitting around thinking they're the perfect candidate for this Me Too movement.
That go for these whack motherfuckers or whoever got some dumb shit to say about my dead homeboy. Let cuz rest. Feel me? If you had a tape, nigga, if you had, number one, if you talking about him kissing his baby mama, he probably never kissed her ever. Okay, number one. And if you got a tape, produce it. Fuck waving a stake so you can get some likes. Nigga, we don't give a fuck, nigga. Even if Nip was here, he'd say, run it. Nip ain't gonna pay nobody, nigga, to hold the tape. Nigga, ass whack, do we kiss his mama? Do we kiss his mama? Believe me, his mama done sucked her dick. So is that what he talking about? I'm just saying. I mean, you know, I don't... It's some weird shit, and I ain't with that weirdo shit. Leave my dead homeboy name out your mouth. Let cuz rest. Cuz did some prolific shit. He did more shit than these niggas ever gonna do in a lifetime. Let cuz rest. Let cuz legacy live. A lot of people now, they getting real boisterous now that Nip is not here. When Nip was around, you niggas was quiet. You had nothing bad to say about Nip on your podcast when Nip was living. Niggas wasn't saying nothing. Niggas was quiet.